Hey awesome people of YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Path of Exile 2 video. In this one we're going to be talking about breaches. Right? In my opinion, breaches are the most amazing in-game content that we have available besides the pinnacle bosses, because breaches can get you a lot of XP, they can get you a lot of currency, and they're fun to do. Right? Determining if breaches is right for you, it depends on your build. If you can clear maps fast or just blow up entire packs like Ice Strike Monk or any of the monks that have either of those freeze rings, or using double herald explosions, they can clear maps pretty effectively. Same with Spark, and there's a few other builds, right? So those builds will be amazing in there, but you can still farm breaches without them. You can farm breaches as minions and stuff like that. That might be not as efficient, but they're still decently worth it. Again, it just depends on the clear speed of your build, right? Also, determining if it's worth it is by looking at your Atlas tree. So you want to try to get as many points as possible in your breach tree. I have it maxed out, as you can see, and you want to have something like this. The reason why is, the first one you definitely want to take is Frantic Invasion. Obviously, that's if you can take that 20% increased damage, because you get 75% increased quantity of breach splinters dropped by breach monsters in your map, which means you get more splinters, meaning you can fight the breach boss more, getting you more points, more loot. Now, for the second one, I definitely recommend Horizon Empire. Breaches in your map have 40% increased monster density, and that is amazing. More mobs, more loot, and you also get more breach splinters, as you can see, because you get more from there. Which means you're also going to have more rares. Now, for the third one, I like to take Crumbling Walls, because you have additional chances of getting more breaches. 15% for 1, 5% for 3 more, and 2% for 10. Only had 10 additional breaches once, and it was worth it. Unfortunately, being in console, I don't have the loot filter as of yet, so it took me a while. It took me about 40 minutes to fully be done with the map, because it took a lot of time to sort it. But if you're on PC, you'll be good, because you can use the loot filter. But getting more of those breaches allowed me to get a lot of XP. I went from level 92 with no XP to about level 92 and like 50-ish%, 60. It was just amazing. A lot of splinters, a lot of catalysts that you can sell for a little bit of money. They're not worth that much, but a lot of goodies. And the last but definitely not least is Interdimensional Assault. Because yes, your breaches will open and close 30% faster, but you will have even more density. And with more density, get more loot, get more XP, and just have a fun time. Now, unless you want to just look around your Atlas and hope you get a breach like over here in the creek or over here in the mire, which definitely don't recommend running mire, is you want to have a nice setup of towers. I'm working towards this setup. As you can see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also do 6, 7, possibly 8, right? Or if you want to do this, 6 down here. My previous one was, believe, like right here, right? But it was around. Oh no, it's right here. There you go. And I set up this 3 towers, and I got a bunch of breaches. Not all of them hit it, but a lot of them did. Like Steven Springs is really nice for it. Hidden Grotto, not as good for breaches. Seepage, not the greatest, but also not the worst. Hidden Grotto, kind of meh. Decay is not bad. Battle Factory, probably among the worst. Same with like Mire being really bad. But how do you guarantee yourself having more breaches? And that's pretty easy. So when you completed the tower, you can put this precursor tablets, and you want to try to look for the 10 maps, right? You can go 8, but 10 is recommended. You also want to look for really nice mods on them, like this one. Your maps contain 3% chance to get more breaches. Really nice. And ready of items, so you can get more goodies, right? This one, Gold Thundernary is kind of whatever, but breaches in your maps have 10% increased monster density. more monster density, more chances for breach splinters, and also more, results, possibly divines and stuff like that. Here we have 4% for 3% for 3 additional breaches, and we get 22% magic monsters in your maps, which means every map. So you can combine this one with something like this one and get 10% more density and more magic monsters. Here we have 6% increase quantity of breach splinters, really good, more breach splinters, and we have 4% increase pack size. You can combine this 3 for a total of 26 maps in your range containing breaches. Even if they overlap and you are done, your maps will still have those modifiers, the blue ones. Like if you see here, I have 9% increased XP gain, 5% gold found, 10% more rare monsters, and rare monsters have 21% additional modifier. Same here. Same over here, but this one has more waystones found. This one's didn't get as much effect, but you will have effect from all your tablets, right? And that is what you definitely want to do. I've talked about the skill points for your breach, but if you don't have any skill points, you can still try to farm your breaches to hopefully, get your first breach stone done. And you're gonna need 300 splinters for it, right? Now, the boss fight is gonna be hard depending on which difficulty you do. So just to demonstrate the entire breach run and stuff like that, we are just gonna get rid of their points. Unfortunately, when I was getting my skill points, my build was not good. I was able to complete 2 breach runs or breach lord fights before I had to ask my buddy to complete number 3 and number 4 for me. So if you're unable to do even the first one, which you should, but if you can't or don't want to, gamble it, ask your buddy if he is able to. There's Discord, there's Reddit, there's plenty of other stuff, right, that will help you. Now, like I said, I'm just gonna buy 51 splinters so we can just run this breach stone. Right? Now, running the breach stone can be worthwhile because you can get some decent goodies. For example, you can get Hands of Wisdom of an action or Hawas, and that's about it. But you also get XP. As you can see, I've just been doing breaches and I'm at 72%. And you can get catalysts, which will help, but you also get some currency. Now, besides Hands of Wisdom and action, there's other drops like Soul's Blood, Beyond the Reach, Whistle Quiver, and Choir of the Storm. And that's the basic ones. At difficulty 2, you get Skin of the Loyal, and at max difficulty, I don't exactly remember what you get. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to be back because, as you can see, at least on console, not sure if it's PC, we cannot go. So I will check back with you in a minute. All right, now we're back and our map is loaded. So to fight the Breach Lord, you want to go back towards your Ziggurat Refuge starting location, and in here you want to go to the Realm Gate. In there, you just put the Breach Stone. Remember, we're fighting just the basic one, so the monster level will be 80. And the higher the Breach Lord, the higher monster level is. So you want to be careful. If you have max points or you just got 4 points, you don't care about the rest, you can just take off like I did and put them back in when you're done to make your breaches in the breaches in the maps more easier to do. Well, not easier to do, but more density. You want to have points. But if you're trying to do Breach Lord fights like I am right now to show, or just don't want to do on a higher difficulty because you're just trying to get Hands of Wisdom in action, you just take off your points to make the boss fight easier. Now, the start of this is going to be just like the Breach. It's going to start and you're going to have a timer, unlike in the basic one. Unfortunately, there you go, the mobs don't want to load it. And your whole objective is, well, to get to the end before timer expires. And how do you do that? Is just by killing the monsters in here and keeping up with, well, the breach itself. Now, the basic monsters, or the common ones, they don't give as much time. Unless you can see, you can just blow up the entire screens. You can somewhat keep up. Now, the big time comes in when you kill rare. You see, we kill the rare, and we got about 7 to 8 seconds, maybe a little more. That's what you want to be doing. If your build is slow in killing the mobs like this, right, but is really strong, and what I mean is, he has really good single target, but not good AoE, you can ask your buddy, or if it's a lower level, you can try to do it. You know, I definitely recommend trying to do at least the first breach by yourself. Now, our minimap is not shown. If we look, you know, you can see, but I would still stick with this just because, well, that's what you have to do. As you can see, we can be debated a little bit into going slightly the wrong way with the stairs and stuff like that. So be mindful of that if you have low timer. If you have a time like we do, where we have plenty of time, you, well, still want to be careful, but it gives you a little bit more leeway if you have a good amount of time. Now, once it's done, you'll know, because the time the time will go away, right? And you get plenty of loot. So before fighting the boss, I definitely recommend picking up that loot, just if you're not able to kill the boss, or if unfortunately you get hit and the boss just one taps you, right? But if you can farm him consistently, still pick up your loot, you know, don't leave it to chance. We are getting close, because you can see it goes into like a weird setup, going like zigzag, I guess. We got a couple debates areas below with the staircase, and boom, we are at the end. You can see we don't have the loot filter, so yeah, picking up this stuff is gonna take us a second. You can see we can get some splinters, spirit gem, breach rings, which you definitely want to pick up, you know, regal shards, gold orbs, good things like that. And you also want to pay attention to good bases. Definitely breach rings are worth it, right? But I'm not going to spend too much time, but you definitely want to look at it, because you can get something amazing like a breach precursor tablet, which is definitely worth it. But once you've done that, you go along this long bridge and you fight the boss right here. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you all the mechanics. There are plenty of videos on it. There's also a wiki to show you what he does, but he will do a few moves. Now, you can see one of his moves is that big fireball, right? And unfortunately, we got Zov's blood as this. But when you defeat him for the first time, he will also drop you a book, which you can read and put your points into right off the bat. Then once you did that, if we look, your next fight will be tougher, because as we talked about, you know, going frantic invasion, you will see that this, you'll have +1 to twisted domain difficulty, which means your boss will be +1. And when you defeat the +1 boss, you get 2 more points for, you know, +2 boss, and then you get +3, and then for the last one, after you defeat +3, you'll get your last points. After that, if you can melt the boss on +4, you know, on max difficulty, go ahead and do that. But if you're not sure or don't want to, you can just, like I said, take off your skill points at Doriani and boom, fight him. Right? Now, unfortunately, we didn't get anything good. As you've seen, we got Zov Blood. Not the most amazing, you know, low roll max life, low roll on fire rest and strength. So not that amazing. The rest are kind of meh. But this breach rings can be amazing, because it gives you a beautiful thing where it implicit is maximum quality is 50. And what it means by that is the catalysts. Right? You can get them pretty easy. They're not super hard to get. I have, as you can see, a little bit too many of them. You have a problem somewhat picking them up. But you can also turn them in the currency exchange and get a little bit of money. They're not super worth it, because you can get them pretty easy, right? Except for Neural, you can get, as you see, about 6 of them for 1x. The rest are not worth it, you know. You can see Pretty Tool is also worth it because there's a lot of cold builds, but Zoff will take you 38 for 1x. Adaptive, you can, I didn't realize, oh yeah, it's for attribute stack and you can get quite a good amount of money. Ash, somewhat worth, but like only toll you need 90 for 1x. Here you need 8. Skittering you need 62, you know. The Chayula need 13, which is not terrible. This one, for Sibling, need 129. So, you're not gonna make a bulk of money there, but the way you're gonna make is through those splinters, because if we go back to Alva and look at free splinters and we want to buy them, for example, it's almost 4 exalt or 4 splinters per one, you know, and you can get in the map just 1 breach. Currently I can get about 20 to 30, right, which is like 7-8x depending how many I get, which is not terrible. But if you get a full breach stone, you get 77 exalts, or if you want to go in divines, it would take you, well, almost 3 breach stones for 1 divine, which is definitely not worth it. So definitely go for the exalts, and you can get quite a good amount of splinters. In the setup of the tablets that I showed earlier, you can get almost a full breach stone, if not more. It just depends how many breaches you get, the layout of the map, and how many points you get. But hopefully this showed you that farming breaches is worth it. And if it did help you, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and especially subscribe. Don't forget to stay awesome. I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.